Gameplay of Star Wars Hunters has finally been leaked. After 7 months after its initial announcement, we had no more information or gameplay until today. We're going to be breaking down the gameplay aspects of everything that has been leaked, as well as compare the differences between mobile versions of the game and the more powerful Nintendo Switch version of the game. There is also some screenshots that suggest that this game isn't going to be as user-friendly as many would hope it would be, but we'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. Here you can see some initial screenshots of the mobile versions of the game. These screenshots also have on-screen UI controls, as well as the menu UIs where you build up a team online to go against 4 other players. Because remember, this is a live service, a multiplayer third-person shooter. Alongside that, we see the classes that you're able to play in the game. These range from stormtroopers who appear to be running portable versions of the E-Web Heavy repeating blaster, which can be seen in the end of The Mandalorian Season 1. Generic looking bounty hunters that are running assault rifles, Jawas stacked on top of one another running pistols, a robotic Jedi, as well as Night Sisters, which we did see in the trailer in February. But before we get into the nitty-gritty detail, did you know that nearly 70% of you who watch our videos are not subscribed? So if you want to be brought up to date on everything Star Wars gaming, as well as some huge projects coming to the channel very soon, be sure to hit that subscribe button, you will not regret it. But with that all said and done, let's dive right into the video. So let's go through every single screenshot one by one in great detail. First up, we can see the character selection screen where all 4 players can see their entire team and who they're going to be playing as. This is likely for team building, so players who aren't that fussed about who they want to play can play certain characters to make the team a pretty well-rounded one. We can see the characters' usernames as well as an icon below. For the Stormtrooper, it's Sentinel, and for the Jawas, it's Utuni. I believe these could be player usernames in the final release, but for now they're just using standard character names. And the icons look like factions, so perhaps this is associated with team building. Maybe you don't want 4 Stormtrooper factions together in one team. Perhaps you might need to mix things up a bit. So for example, if all your teammates have picked and you don't have a droid player, you might want to go a droid blaster or a droid Jedi. That's my take on this picture. Let me know if you have any suggestions of your own in the comments down below. Next up, we can see gameplay of the bounty hunter firing from a distance. Here he's shooting down what looks to be a melee Wookiee in the center of the arena, as well as what looks to be a ult charge in the center bottom of the screen, just above his health bar. So this looks like it's going to be a third-person MOBA of sorts, where characters have specific abilities and build up to an ultimate, leaning more towards Overwatch rather than Fortnite, I'd say. We also have some UI at the top with percentage bars. This could be associated to kills with deathmatch, but I think this is more of a King of the Hill style of gameplay, where depending on how long you can hold the center of the map for, builds up your charge, and then when you reach 100%, you finally win that round. We also see some stormtroopers in the background which actually aren't identical. One is using that E-Weber cannon that I mentioned earlier, but the other looks to be running a jetpack that allows it to fly around the map. Now, I can't tell what weapon this stormtrooper is using, but it looks like an assault rifle, so perhaps characters aren't limited to their own singular abilities. Maybe you can mix and match with weapons. Alongside this gameplay screenshot, we also see a really nice render of a Night Sister, which we can 100% confirm will be a playable character in the game. In the next screenshot, we see some Stormtrooper gameplay. Here he's using that E-Web Heavy cannon I mentioned. I'm assuming this type of gameplay from the Stormtrooper is much more closer to Heavy from Team Fortress 2 with the mini railgun. Here we can see the Wookiee, which I'm assuming is a tank at this point, considering how much damage he's taking in screenshots, is charging up to the Stormtrooper to start meleeing him. Alongside that, you see the dual Ewok in the distance, and what appears to be on a Hoth-like map. And this all makes sense considering this game takes place just after the Return of the Jedi. And next up is UI for teams going against one another. I'm assuming we get this screen right before you enter into a game, so you can see what your allies are running and what they're playing, as well as what the enemies are running and what they're playing. It definitely seems to be a wide range of characters here, and I'm actually really excited to play as a Night Sister. And also the Wookiees look really good in this game, especially on this render we see in this screenshot. I love the cartoony, blocky, Clone Wars style design they've gone with here. Now that we've gone through the screenshots to try and discover what we can understand about this game, let's start comparing. Before we do so, just some context on these screenshots. These were captured from an Android Google Play Store leak. Kind of the promotional images you get when you're deciding whether or not to download an app from the App Store. That and the fact that there's touchscreen UI on the screen, we know 100% for fact that this is mobile gameplay. But in a separate leak on the Star Wars Hunters Facebook page, we see a much more higher detailed screenshot of gameplay, alongside that with no on-screen UI available, which highly suggests that this screenshot comes from a much more powerful Nintendo Switch. Now in this screenshot, it looks like the same map in the other screenshot where we can see a bounty hunter firing at a Wookiee. Now, I'm not 100% sure, but if it is, there is a lot more detail in this screenshot than the mobile ones. Not to mention the shadow details and the textures of the walls look so much more higher quality. Now, we don't know if this is just promotional screenshots or actually in-game screenshots. Judging by the look of it, I think it's definitely more in the latter. And if it is the case, this game looks really impressive for a Nintendo Switch title. And the fact that it's going to be live service makes it really, really exciting for me. There are other non-gameplay leaks that we covered on this channel earlier that helps us understand that this game will be a multiplayer PvP focused on 4v4 battles. It takes place during the timeline of the Mandalorian TV show. It will be free to play with paid cosmetics, available initially for mobile and Nintendo Switch, with hints that it will come out on consoles like Xbox One and PS4. And in a Zynga press conference, we know there'll be a beta test in Christmas this year. However, there's one point here that I'm really not happy about, and it's this screenshot right here. What we can get right away from this screenshot is that you can kinda mix and match weapons with characters, but they all look like they stay within the same class. But what really bugs me here is that it looks like you need to buy weapons. Now, I'm really hoping that the Specs Op Blaster isn't just straight up more stronger than the Trusty Blaster, because if that's the case, it just becomes a pay-to-win scheme, which really sucks, considering this will be the only live service Star Wars game besides the Old Republic. And I want it to be a game where I don't have to pay money just to play better at the game. I'm really hoping that these are just skins. I truly hope that when you unlock these, no gameplay changes are made, and it just makes your weapon a lot cooler. If that's the case, I'm really excited for this game, I really am. Because that means you can get good at this game without even spending a dime. And it's just the whales that will pay out money just to make their characters look really cool. And as I mentioned time and time again in previous videos, this is a good microtransaction scheme. It works fantastically for games like League of Legends, Dota 2, Valorant. And if Star Wars Hunters does the same thing, I'll be really happy with the end result. But again, there's a lot of weird currencies here, like the weird woman credit, and then you've got the standard credit, and then you've got these gemstones. It all points towards pay to win schemes, which I really don't like here. But I really hope I'm wrong. I'm more interested in what you think. Do you think this is a bad thing? Do you think they'll just go with cosmetics only? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below, because I know a lot of Star Wars gaming fans out there have been really burnt by microtransactions with Battlefront 2 in the past. But as I mentioned before, there's brilliant microtransaction schemes out there that work for everyone, and not these crappy ones that you see in, say, Genshin Impact. There's a difference between microtransactions and a gacha game. But that is all the screenshots of gameplay we have right now on Star Wars Hunters. Quite a lot of information out there now. We kind of get an idea of what this game will be, as well as when this game will come out. So we'll get our beta launch this holiday, and then hopefully the full release in the first quarter of 2022. Well, that pretty much wraps up today's video, guys. Again, let me know what your thoughts are on this game in the comments down below. And if you're of the 70% of you that are not subscribed watching this video, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that all said and done, guys, I have been Charlie, you've been watching EcksToo, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, guys.